All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema One from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And so, like, I'm trying to type as I speak. But this is the brother Shema One from the Great Millstone Houston Church. Coming with a lesson, just going into how really focusing on these Edomites, man, how, their pride is being heard, is being observed and acknowledged by Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, and that's something that he hates. And understanding that judgment is going to come sooner than later. So with that being said, I want to go into it, just getting a few precepts, thinking about the times that we're in, how they link with the scriptures on the nature of Edomites, the true nature of these Edomites, man, starting from the elites on down to the everyday low-level Edomite you see begging on the corner, man. But first, let me find this precept, what I'm looking for real quick. What's up? You all right? Mm-hmm. Did I disturb you? No, you good. You okay, though? All right. Be careful, Mama. All right. All right, this is what I was looking for. This is Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 13. It says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. And just going into, just acknowledging and thinking about what is it that the Lord likes, what he dislikes, what he approves of, what he doesn't, what he loves, what he hates. And these are things to think about, and all of these attributes fit Esau to the T. Everyday living, everyday life, everyday mindset. Wake up for breakfast. Wake up in the morning, what you having for breakfast. The evil way, pride, arrogancy, the forward mouth. These are all the attributes, some of the attributes that fit these Edomites, man. Real quick. Psalms 34 and 13. Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good. Speak peace and pursue it. And that's the thing. Esau, just staying with the topic of discussion, these Edomites. What they speak doesn't match with their actions. And just relating it to what you see amongst the Israelites. These camps who speak so nice, who speak and it soothes you, but you don't see the prophecies happening. You don't see the things they speak taking place. They're full of shit, man. Just like Esau. Okay, and the Lord tells us, keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile, which is deceit. Guile is false, feigned, fraud, treachery, lies. And these are all attributes that are, attached to Edomites, and you got Israelites running with this, claiming to have a ministry, perverting the doctrine, telling lies, like Yahweh Shai said in, what is that, Matthew 12 and 30. Let me get that real quick. Then I'll get back to the topic. This is Matthew chapter 12 and 30 first. Matthew 12 and 30, it says, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. If you are teaching outside of the ways that Yahweh Shah approves of, outside of the ways of what he taught, you're scattering. You're not with Yahweh Shah. You're not on the same accord. You're not equally yoked with him. All right? Speaking about Gentiles, actual heathen can be saved. No trouble's gonna come. There's gonna be a pre-rapture tribulation. Those are false doctrines. Heathen are gonna be judging Israelites in the kingdom. False doctrines. We're in the new covenant already. False doctrines. We're saved already. That's a false doctrine. All these false doctrines. He that is not with me is against me. So you are an enemy of Yahweh Shah. And any enemy of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, any enemy of Yahweh Shah, whoever came out with the victory. Exactly. None. So if you speaking of false doctrine, the day is gonna come where you're gonna be exposed and judged and removed, because that does not stand, man. That's adding to the word and taking away. It says, he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. And a lot of people are going to follow. A lot of people are going to follow these false doctrines, these false teachings in the last days, like the scriptures tell you. You know, and the teachers as well as the followers or the listeners, they're going to both fall into that ditch. They're going to listen and believe a lie. You know, these camps teaching falsely what the MOTB is. A lot of people are finna be misled, right? Until the day it comes where it's made known what the mark is, because prophecy will not fail. Prophecy will come to pass. Niggas who take that chip and who are able to continue to live, I should say, and suffer a miserable life, they're going to end up getting a grievous sore. You know, like it tells you in the book of Revelations, the 16th chapter. But just going into, you know, certain things, those who come against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. So let's go back to Psalms or Proverbs 8 and 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. These are things the Lord hates. And these are all the things that Esau takes pride in. You know, so with that being said, I was just thinking about a few things, specifically about Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, the mindset of these Edomites. You know, which is, they don't have access to Yahweh Shah. You've seen what happened to Yahweh Shah when he was on the earth. So they don't physically have access to Yahweh Shah. So who do they have access to? You know, his believers, his followers. But going into it, Esau in his rulership, but his mindset. Let's start here. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 in verse 6. Speaking about the wicked. We could really start at the top, but let's just jump into verse 6 and we'll read down. It says, the wicked according to the scriptures, if you read Malachi 1 and 4, it tells you, you know, the border of wickedness are the Edomites. It says, the wicked say, come on then, let's enjoy the good things of life and live in this world the way we did when we were young and free of care. Let's drink the most expensive wines and use the finest perfumes. Let's not miss a single flower in the springtime. Before the roses wither, let's pick them and wear them in our hair. Let's all join in and leave signs everywhere of our carefree revelry. And if you look at that word revelry, it goes into pretty much excess drinking, you know, getting loose and overdoing it and indulging in, you know, strong drink or wine. It says life owes us that much. And that's the mindset of an Edomite. This nigga wants his staple in the earth, but literally he's creating a stain everywhere he goes. You know, it's not a good report. It's not a great impression. It's really a stain, like the scriptures tell you in Proverbs 29:2. When the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You know? But continuing on, it says, verse 9 again, let's all join in and leave signs everywhere of our carefree revelry. Let me look that word up just to make sure. Just on the Google look up, it says celebrations, lively and noisy festivities, especially when these involve drinking in large amount of alcohol. And that's exactly what it is. You know, just unstable and just just a damn mess. You know, look at it. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, and look at the condition of the earth. And mind you, this is the mindset of the rulers and those that govern the earth. You know, we read this in the scriptures. You know, just showing you how simple-minded and how base Esau is, man. Verse 9 again, let's all join in and leave signs everywhere of our carefree revelry. Life owes us that much. And that's the thing. The earth was created for our sakes, according to the scriptures. It tells you that in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter. So Esau leaving a imprint in the earth is just a damn stain that this nigga is going to get judged for. You know, this man ain't finna be remembered for, the great things he done in the earth. The scriptures tell you there's going to be a new heavens and a new earth. There's going to be no remembrance of the former, of this bullshit. You know? So with this man in his rulership, in his authority, verse 10, what does he do? Will oppress the poor, even if they are righteous. Will show no respect for widows or old people. And that's the thing. What do you expect? They're Edomites. It's always been like that from the beginning. It's always been a tension, even in the womb. Look at what happened when Yahushua was on the scene. Even him at his birth, his life was sought after from the charge of who? A fucking Edomite, man. It's no different from us today, because we follow this man Yahushua. We believe in him. Even though we never seen him, we believe in everything he taught in his life. We believe in that. He died and rose from the dead, man. Everything he taught, we follow. And the mindset of these Edomites towards us is, we'll oppress the poor. Nigga, we already ain't got nothing, but yet they further our afflictions. You're showing you, even though they, try to take our heritage and our name on themselves, it's undeniable because they can't avoid us. They just are so attracted to us because they know who we are. And as we read, it will tell you, we'll oppress the poor, even if they are righteous. You ain't supposed to do it. Somebody in their right mind wouldn't even do that. But Esau doesn't give a damn about anything dealing with the Most High, because he sets himself up as the Most High, as it tells you in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. It says, we'll show no respect for widows or old people. They don't give a damn about the elderly women or the elderly men. But yet in today's time, man, Jake is so mind-effed behind Esau, running behind Esau, voting for him, worshiping him. You know, that just shows you the mindset of the average Israelite in today's time. The scriptures tell you in Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. You know, it is greatly polluted and it will destroy you with a sore destruction. You know, this shit is really that bad. It's that bad. You could get caught up in it to the point where you don't even know what's going on. You know, and that's the state the majority of the Israelites are in, where Esau don't give a damn, but yet Jake in that Stockholm syndrome mindset, being sympathetic and empathetic behind their oppressor, man. But the scriptures say the mindset of the Edomites will show no respect for widows or old people. And you can see it in the earth today, man. We'll call ourselves right, if we are strong enough to get what we want. No one ever got anything by being weak. And you see that today. America just bombarded Venezuela. We will call ourselves right if we are strong enough to get what we want. Is that not what happened? Then these niggas talking about taking Greenland. You know, just bypassing all the laws that are in effect, set in place. No, they really got the mindset they're strong enough to get what they want. Who does that fit? What is that? Second Esdras. No, not Second Esdras. Real quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and 10, I think. Hold up. Sirach chapter 36. In verse 10, it says, crush all those enemy rulers who think they are the only people in the world who matter. And that's the mindset of these Edomites, man. Doing whatever the hell they want to do. Don't give a damn. As long as it ain't them, it don't matter. That type of mindset. That's horrible. And that's the person who rules and governs the earth. Let's go back. Wisdom of Solomon. Hold up. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Where was in verse 12, it says, righteous people are nothing but a nuisance. So let's look for chances to get rid of them. They are against what we do. They accuse us of breaking the law of Moses and violating the traditions of our ancestors. And that's the thing. That's why still to this day, the Israelites are oppressed and downtrodden. So these things won't come into effect. But guess what? According to prophecy, this had to happen. Ezekiel, the 37th chapter had to take place. Them dry bones, they had to come to life. It also tells you that in Revelation, what is that? The 11th chapter. You know how, our dead bodies, which, were in the street. But what happened, came to life and sit up on our feet. And it brought great fear upon those. Speaking about these Edomites and these other nations who know who we are, because it tells you in verse 12, it says, righteous people are nothing but a nuisance. So they know who the righteous are. So let's look for chances to get rid of them. Why? Because they know who we are as a people. Judith, the 5th chapter, you can read at verse 20. It tells you the plotting of these damn heathen that know if the Israelites are in good standings with the Heavenly Father, nobody could come against us. But on the contrary end, if we're in error with the Heavenly Father, anybody can come against us and overtake us, man. So it says, so let's look for chances to get rid of them. Read Psalms, the 83rd chapter, starting at the top. It says, they are against what we do. They accuse us of breaking the law of Moses and violating the traditions of our ancestors. And that's the thing. We call out, the wickedness that's being done in the earth. That's our duty. That's what we are supposed to do. The scriptures tell us that. Giving our people warning and chance. 2 Chronicles, the 36th chapter, starting at verse 15. That's a way of the Lord showing compassion on his people by giving them warning, by sending his prophets out, telling you about the things going on in the earth, man. The enemy is making moves. And we are against that shit. The Israelites are supposed to know what the mark of the beast is. The Israelites are supposed to know that you're not supposed to take the image of the beast. The things that this nigga has set up, the system, the way this shit operates. What this nigga pushes out, we ain't supposed to be with it, man. And knowing what to, knowing how to move, what we can partake in and what we just fucking can't. Them vaccinations and shit, that's a no-brainer. That's a fuck no. That's a no. You got to go to work and get your little finger scan. Yeah, you got to do that. You got to go to work, get your little face scan. You got to do that shit until it comes to the point of getting a physical implant in your body. Then that's fucking it, man. But just being on point and accurate with, prophecies and the spirit of the times is important, because Esau is making moves which are against, the ways of the Heavenly Father. And you have to be prepared and ready for that fight, man. It says they claim to know the Most High, verse 13. They claim to know the Most High, and they call themselves the Lord's children. Duh. Because now we understand, we the true Israelites. According to prophecy, we understand who we are in these times. And they hate that. They hate that. They covered it up so much, to try to get rid of it, but they couldn't, because you can't upset prophecy, man. In the last days, like it tells you in Baruch, the 2nd chapter, we were going to call on the Lord again. We're going to think upon his name. And that means we will know who we are if we know who our power is. Verse 14, we can't stand the sight of people like that. What they are contradicts the whole way of thinking. They are not like other people. They have strange ways. And that's how the Edomites and these other nations look at us. It is a strange way, because our ways are different. Like it tells you in Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, such a wise and people so nigh unto the Most High. But, I was just thinking about the mindset of these Edomites and how it displays still to this day. But I'll end it there for time's sake. I pray this lesson was edifying to the Lord's elect. Hey, and Lord willing, until the next time, I say shalom.